I experienced a strange series of events yesterday, at the end of which I received a message. God told me to deliver this message. This isn't the message, this is the title of this video. So simple, yet I needed to write it down in order to be able to say that. God told me to deliver this message because this is so unlike anything I've ever done on this channel. I have almost 1,200 videos as of this uploading, and I've never done anything like this. I have intentionally gone out of my way to avoid discussing politics and religion on this channel because these are two areas, I believe, in my personal opinion, that divides more so than unites. But I have to talk about this today. So, in so doing, I need to give you just a brief history of my own religious experiences, okay? I'm not pushing any views on anybody, and you'll understand that if you hear me out and give me a chance. You'll fully understand I'm not pushing religious views on anyone. But unless you understand a little about my own experiences with religion, this story won't come across as powerful to you as it did to me when it happened. So, I was raised in a house by a mother and a father who practiced different religious faiths. They were quite contrasting faiths with each other. So, one day of the week, I was dragged to one house of worship that practiced a particular faith, and then on a different day of the week, I was dragged to another house of worship by the other parent that practiced the other faith. That was challenging because I wanted to please both parents. I wanted love and acceptance from both. I wanted to give love and acceptance to both. So I wanted to believe the way this one believed, but then I felt like I was being a traitor to the other. It was very confusing. It was a mess. And with this said, I'm a parent, and what I know about parenthood is that children do not come with instruction manuals. I know my parents did the best they could with what they had to work with. Me. Come on, cut them some slack. So, any mistakes I've made in life, any wrongdoings I've committed, any character defects I possess is all a result of choices I've made, choices I continue to make. It has no bearing on the job that my parents did or didn't do in raising me, okay? There is no blame being placed here. I'm simply explaining my experiences with religion, giving you a backdrop so you'll understand how powerful this message that God told me to give you is. So I was feeling a bit down yesterday. My wife and my son are in the Philippines. They're 9,000 miles away from me. They're on the other side of the world, literally. If you held the globe like this and Virginia was here, Philippines would be here. Okay, 24 hours in a day, right? They're exactly 12 hours ahead of me time-wise. You can't get any further away from me than my family is right now. And I live for my family. My wife and my son, they are my life. I, with them, know unconditional love. And I miss them. And they've only been gone for a short while, and they're going to be gone for a while longer. So I've got a ways to go. So yesterday, I went out to get my first shot of here in Virginia, everybody 16 or older has been approved. As of this recording, I don't want to give any wrong advice. It's been approved to receive the vaccine, and I'm taking the one that I've got to go back in 21 days to get the other. So when I went online to schedule it, I got it free through a pharmacy, a chain pharmacy. The closest place I could go to get it was a considerable drive for me out into the middle of nowhere. And I thought, well, why not? Because I've got time, right? So I scheduled it the night before because I could get it the next day. If I wanted one closer, I would have had to have waited for a while. And I thought, well, take a drive. It's beautiful through that area. I've been through there before. I used to catfish over there. So I'm driving my truck through the middle of nowhere. I mean, literally the middle of nowhere. It's not going toward, the city closest to me. It's going away from it. And it was so quiet. It was because in the truck, I'm always with my wife and our son. And we don't play the radio because we talk. We actually spend time talking as a family. But they weren't there, and the silence was deafening. So I had my cell phone there, and while I click on the YouTube thing to play music, one of my playlists or whatever, while I'm driving, and there's no internet. So it's in the middle of nowhere, and I thought, well, maybe the radio will work. So I turned on the radio, and the only radio stations that would play were these religious radio stations. One, there was a preacher screaming about hell's fire and brimstone, and on the other, they were singing hymns. I didn't want to hear either, so I turned it off. And I'm going, and this is farming community, and there were a lot of signs everywhere, religious signs. But they weren't, it wasn't like Children of the Corn, where it's like, repent now, you hell-bound heathen. The signs were talking about love. God and love. Well, that's okay. And I went by one church that had, there's the churches in our area, they'll put like messages up on the boards. I like their message. As of this recording, it's April 30. Okay, we're like at the tail end of tax season. They've extended it till May 17th this year, but I just paid mine, right? So this was fresh on my mind, and the church's message board said, ever notice how the IRS spells theirs? I was like, huh? Think about it. The, T-H-E-I-R-S, spells theirs. T-H-E-I-R-S. And I laughed out loud, and I thought, oh, this is okay. So I turned the radio back on, and I was listening to this woman sing this hymn, and I thought, man, she really has a beautiful voice. I don't know, I guess I just kind of put my guard down to just receiving some stuff. I'll just say that. And so I'm listening to this music. I get to where I'm going. I get to the pharmacy. It's a chain. So I've got my mask on. Everybody in there had their masks on. There wasn't a lot of people in there. There was just a few. So there were two lines. There was one woman being helped here at the register at the pharmacy, and the other line, the lady called me up because there was no one there. So I go over, tell her who I am. I show her my, state-issued ID so she confirmed that it's me, and she's giving me the paperwork to fill out. And I noticed that over here on my left, this woman who's at the cashier's station beside me, she's having issues. Her and the cashier going back and forth. They're not arguing. They're having a conversation. I overhear the woman say, well, can you please try to run it through again? The insurance is supposed to pay for this. And the cashier said, I'm sorry, but I called the doctor and they did it, and I've done everything I can. We can't get it any lower. It's $27. And the woman says, the insurance is supposed to pay for all of this, though. And the cashier says, ma'am, I'm sorry, and we even gave you, a store discount. We've gotten this as low as we can possibly get it. And the woman trying to get this medicine says, well, can you please just call she said, can you wait? Can you give me a few minutes? I'll call the doctor's office and see if I can get them to run it. Can you just hold this for me? And I look over and I see that she has her purse open. She's got her wallet out and she's got money she's counting on the counter. And it occurred to me, well, the problem here, she's not complaining because her insurance carrier is or isn't doing what they said they would do. She didn't have the money to pay for her medicine. And I remember the cashier said it was $27. I looked down, the woman had about $20 or something like that. I took money out of my wallet. I took two 20s out and I gave it to the cashier. I said, here, I'll pay for that. And the woman looks over at me, and I thought maybe she was going to be upset. I thought she was maybe offended, but she wasn't. She started crying, and she said, "No, sir, you don't have to do that." And I said, "Ma'am, I'm happy to do it." I said, "You need this medicine. I don't know what your issue is. I don't need to know, but you need your medicine. I hope it's going to help you. I don't mind to do this." So she takes the 220s out of my hand. She hands one back, and she goes, "I only need $7. I've got like $20. I only need $7. And I said, "Okay." So I took the 20, and I said, "Well, I have a 10." And I gave her the 10, and she gave me the other 20. So then I'm dealing with the woman, with the paperwork for my injection. And this woman's over here crying, and she's thanking me. She's saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm embarrassed, but I'm thankful. Thank you for doing this. There's not a lot of people like this left in the world." And I said, "Well, actually there are." And I said, "Would you believe somebody just gave me a weed eater?" Because it's true. No, I didn't go into detail with her. I don't go out and tell people who I am or what I do, and I prefer they don't know, okay? But we've recently been showered with gifts from viewers. And so I'm standing there at the register, and they're kind of looking at me like, "Oh, this guy just got a free weed eater." Okay. And I'm thinking out loud, and I'm thinking in plants and hedges and a freaking wood splitter. And I said, "Give me that back." And I reach over, and I grabbed that $10 bill from that woman, and I took it back. And she looked kind of scared. Thinking back on it, she probably thought I was going to refuse to help her pay for her medicine now. And I took those 220s back out of my wallet, and I gave it to the cashier, and I said, "Here, I'm paying for all of it." And then the woman tried to give me the money she had, and I said, "No, you keep that. You go buy lunch, or better yet, you take that and you help somebody that can help." I said, "People have been helping me. I've been blessed so much lately. It is not a problem for me to pay the $27 for your medicine." And it's not, okay? It wasn't. And so she's crying even more now. And she's like, "I can't let you do that. And I said, "Look, just make sure," I said to the cashier, I said, "Just make sure to give me my change back, my $12.96. It was like $27.04. I'm good at math, unless if I did that math wrong, then I'm not. But I was right. So I got my change back. I said, "Hey, I'm grateful. People have been helping me, but I'm not that gracious. I'm not going to let you keep my change if that makes you feel better." And I was trying to lighten the tone with humor, and it worked. She started laughing a little bit, and so while I'm waiting on my injection, and we're talking about karma, and she was telling me, she was helping some people lately, and she felt maybe I was helping her because she was helping them. And I said, "Well, I believe you. I believe in karma." A lot of people say karma's a bitch. Personally, I like her, because you know why? I don't have to worry about getting revenge on people. That's a terrible thought or concept right there anyway, isn't it? Revenge. Well, the thing about being such good friends with karma is that if somebody does me wrong, I don't have to go after them and get myself in trouble trying to get my revenge. Karma's going to catch that person eventually. And every now and then she catches me too, though, and reminds me that maybe there's something I need to correct. Okay? So it's not like she's biased towards me. She's straight down the middle. If she owes me a message, she gives it to me too. So anyway, when I left the store after this all happened, I felt good. Let me get a drink of water. There's a lot of pollen in the air today. I felt good. I felt good because I stepped outside of myself and my own, I don't want to say problems, because I have no problems. Just my wife and son are not with me, and it made me feel bad. And I'm not worrying about their safety. I know they're going to be fine. They're there. If you want to watch their trip, go subscribe to my wife's channel. It's called Life with Dearly. She's like documenting their trip, going there alone together without me. And I'm watching her videos, of course, because it allows me to see my wife and my son while they're gone. They're having a great time. Go show some love and see how they're doing over there. But I felt good because I did good. So I turned the radio back on, right? And now it's a preacher. He's giving a sermon. I'm thinking, great, here we go. Hell's fire and brimstone. And he's talking about, how he's saved. He knows where he's going when he dies. He's going to a place where there's no pain, no worries. And I'm thinking, well, here comes the part where he's going to start talking about how he wishes he'd just die right now, or how he just wishes the rapture would happen right now because he knows where he's going. And it's like he was reading my mind through his pre-recorded, I'm sure, radio address, because he said, now I bet you brothers and sisters, you're probably asking me if I'm excited about dying, if I'm ready to go right now. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I was just sitting here thinking. And he said, no, I'm not. He says, because I know where I'm going, but while I'm here, I still have a job to do. And that's to help others. And then he said, notice I did not say help others get there, simply to help others. Unconditionally. God didn't tell me to help that woman at the pharmacy if she believed the same way I did when it came to religion, or if she was had the same skin color as me, or if she had the same views on sexual preferences as me, or gender identification as me, or if she was the same nationality of me. God said, help that woman. God said, help that other human being that needs help. Help her unconditionally. And that's what the man on the radio that I thought was going to preach hell's fire and brimstone to me was saying. He said, while we are still here, it's great that we've made our plans for the afterlife. It's great, if these are the things we believe, that when we're gone, there will be no pain, there will be no suffering. So why worry? Well, that's great if the afterlife's taken care of. So how about let's put a little more focus on this life? Help others unconditionally. So I'm sitting on the porch last night, just before dark, missing my wife, missing my kids, but enjoying listening to the frogs in the pond. And we have a pond out front. One of our friends rolls up in her Jeep. She stops. Her son gets out. He's friends with my son. He runs off to chase the rabbits and the chickens or whatever. And she says, Grandma, that's what she calls her mom. We all call her Grandma. She's kind of like our surrogate grandmother here in the U.S. Wonderful woman. She's retired. Worked hard her whole life, but she's not a rich woman. And she lives, I would say, predominantly from Social Security. During the days of COVID, I found out, my friend pulls in, she says, Grandma signed up for this thing for seniors who depend heavily on Social Security, where they receive food. This is something that came out in our community during the days of COVID. Said she gets food every 2 weeks. They always give her way too much, so she usually splits off, what she knows she can use, what she can eat, and then she gives us the rest. But I just gone to the grocery store yesterday, and we can't fit any more food in our house. And she said, I know Dearly's gone and Daniel's gone, but do you need some food? And she gets out of her Jeep and she brings me a box of food. Here's the box. I'm afraid it'll spill if I open it. And she also had, let me just show you some of these things. I put this stuff in the ref last night. I brought it out to bring it up here. I got a gallon of milk, fat-free, the kind I like to drink. Nobody over the age of 2 needs any milk fat. Yogurt, plain. I love putting that in applesauce. A little bit of brown sugar, some honey. Frozen meatballs, 3 bags. This one's thawed out because I'm cooking this today. And then a bunch of cheese, white cheddar. I love cheese. I'm a cheesy kind of guy. I'm just going to open it anyway. Take a risk. An entire bag of apples. It's funny, they're Red Delicious. I planted Red Delicious apple trees in our orchard because they're delicious and they're red. And somebody commented on the video I made about that. They're like, why did you plant Red Delicious apples? Nobody eats those anymore. That comment ranks up there with the other most ridiculous comment I've ever read on our channel. And that is the one that said, you can tell I don't have any real friends because of all the corduroy I wear. I don't know where you people come up with this stuff, but I love Red Delicious apples. They're red and they're delicious. Did you see the size of that onion? Look at this. Food is falling at... You get the point. Look at this onion. Peanut butter. I love PB&J's. I mean, look, I got some hand soap in here. And I saw this stuff, and of course I was thinking about those taxes I just paid, and I said to my friend, I said, well, at least my tax dollars go to good use. Look at this, Rockin' Protein Recovery Shake. I run every morning or mountain bike. She said, oh no, that's not your tax dollars. She goes, this is people in our community who just kind of pull together and give themselves and give to those who need it. And it's amazing. Man, look at this. Beef stew, oatmeal, which I eat every morning, cereal, my favorite kind. I love these. So here's the deal. I was sitting around thinking, now nothing here you'll note is very expensive, but it's all edible. It's all healthy. You know, they're not buying junk food to give people during the COVID days. This is probably the priciest thing in there. But I started doing the math in my head. You know what this stuff adds up to? About $27. The exact amount, $27.04, that I gave to that woman at that pharmacy yesterday to buy her medicine. I have come on here so many times and talked about how what you put out there into the world will come back to you. And it was proven the very day. But what I've never put out there was this message. Listen, and I'm kind of afraid to, in a way, because we're going to do something. I want you to help me do something. I told you to go subscribe to Dearly's channel. We are going to blow the mind. We're going to blow the mind out of this young man's head. I want you to subscribe to another channel too. I don't know this guy, okay? But I like him. Before I made this video, and I knew I was going to title it this, I looked to see if there were other videos with this title on YouTube. Just an FYI, YouTube has very stringent community guidelines and policies. And if you violate them, then you risk no longer doing YouTube. I understand their policies and guidelines. I respect them and I appreciate them, okay? So I always want to make sure to go out of my way not to violate them. And one of the ways I do that is, if I have an idea for a title that I think might be kind of iffy, I'll go to see if anybody else has a similar title, make sure the video's not been removed, and make sure it's monetized, and not because I want to make sure I'm getting money if I'm making those videos. No, because any video that is questionable won't be monetized. So I put in the name of this video. God told me to deliver this message. And I found one with that exact same title. It was monetized, which means obviously, you know, no violations. So I clicked it, you know, I had to make sure that it was monetized. And it was put on there by a YouTuber named I'm Boogie. Now listen, it's all one word, capital I, lowercase m, capital B, O-O-G-I-E. No apostrophes or anything, which reminds me of a bumper sticker I saw yesterday while I was out. It was on the back of a car in front of me. It said, "Let's eat grandma, let's eat grandma." And then below it said, "Punctuation saves lives." What's that mean? Well, then I got it, because I am a writer and I edit a lot. It should be, "Let's eat, comma, grandma. Let's eat, comma, grandma." It's like, hey, let's eat grandma. Without that comma, it sounds like you want to eat grandma. That's how punctuation saves lives. Not that I'm critiquing the fact that this guy doesn't have an apostrophe right here, but I want you to go to his channel and subscribe. He made a video with this title. It's been a while ago. He was celebrating having hit 10,000 subscribers. He's at like 21,000 subscribers now. And he was being very grateful and thanking people who subscribed to his channel. So I had that playing, and I actually listened to it, and I liked what the guy was saying. He was talking about achieving goals, and his goal, of course, was to hit 10,000 viewers or subscribers. And he said something I'd never heard put in words before. He talked about, you know, not worrying about what other people think about you, not what they say about you, like your corduroy and your red delicious apples and stuff. He said losers focus on winners, winners focus on success. I thought, man, that's powerful. So let's show him even more success on his channel by subscribing. And you might want to listen to this young man. Okay? But now this brings us back to how I opened this video. I thought, you know, for me to tell this story, because it's so obvious God is in play here, okay? Higher power, whatever you choose to call that higher power. And I don't care what team you're on. If you're on either of the two teams my parents were on, or if you're on other teams from other cultures. Despite my background with those religious experiences, I never doubted the existence of a higher power. And I have seen what I believe is my higher power at play far too many times in my life to doubt in any way my higher power's existence. I should have been dead in Iraq. I should have been dead in the Philippines. There were times I should have been dead here in the U.S., but I'm not. I lost everything at one point in my life. A combination of trauma, experiences in the war, bad choices when I got home from the war, when I couldn't, I lost it all. Today, I am blessed to have a beautiful wife and a beautiful son who love me unconditionally. I am blessed to have made it back to the United States from, I was stuck in the Philippines for many years. Couldn't get out, didn't have the money, was living there on a 2-year-old expired visa, or at one point, I think 3 or 4 years old. I was living in the shadows. I was an illegal immigrant. Through unconditional love given me from my wife and my son and my higher power, and complete strangers I will never meet, I now live a life beyond imagination, and I have a mission, and I have a goal, and I have a message. My mission and my goal, in the capacity to which I can, is to help others while I'm here. I do know what's going to happen to me when I die. I'm going to be dead. After that, I don't know, I'll be dead. But I'm not dead yet. I'm still here. And life is not all about me. It's about everybody around me, not just my beautiful wife and my beautiful son. It's about the girl at the pharmacy who, maybe she was obviously having a bad day, but her day just got a whole lot better. And I bet she went out and made somebody else's day a whole lot better too because of that. And it came back to me. Look at my mess. Look at all that food laying here on the ground. That's not irony. It's not coincidence. It is serendipity, which comes from a higher power. That's the message. I made a video earlier today. I'll put it on when I was thinking about these things, you can hear the wind. We're having wind today. But I said to God, do you really want me to be the one? I don't talk about this stuff on my channel for a reason. You want me to be the one to send this message? And this wind gust picked up. It was the strongest wind gust I'd seen since I lived through a typhoon in the Philippines. There was a bottle of water on the roof of our house that was stuck in a grapevine that just wouldn't come out. The wind blew this thing out, and all the pollen, it's pollen season, that had settled on the leaves and the limbs and the forest around me got blown off, and there was so much pollen in the air, it looked like a dust storm that we used to see in Iraq. And just before I left Iraq, we lived through the largest dust and sandstorm in recorded history. It was so big you could see it from outer space. The pollen almost looked like that. And yeah, you could say, well, it's wind. Well, I took it as a sign. Then an hour later, when I was rethinking whether I should make this video or not and tell you these things I've told you in this video, I looked in the mirror while I was getting ready to shave and take a shower, which I've done, so you can tell as compared to the earlier video. I said, God, are you... And I'd looked up this guy's video. I'm Boogie. I'd already looked it up, and it was playing. I was listening to it, and I said, you really want me to be the one to send this message? And another wind gust came, and it blew down that tree. And I thought, okay, I accept this mission. I'll do this because I don't want that poplar tree out there falling on my house. And I just feel I should do it. Okay, so there it is. I've laid it out, the events exactly as they happened. That's great if you're confident in your faith, you know where you're going, but while you're still here, help others.